All right. Well, welcome everyone for being here. You have no idea how excited I am to be here today because this is I'm a meditation teacher and I'll introduce myself in just a second, but this is another love that I have in my life is organization and sharing ways to reduce the anxiety and the stress and the overwhelm that we mostly have every single day. And meditation, sound healing is a fantastic way to do it, but I love life tools, and this is just another tool that you can add to your toolbox. So without further ado, my name is Padma Rukmini, Devi Dasi. That is my spiritual name. And if someone Googles me, that's what should come up. But sometimes you'll see me under Karen Tatiana, which is my birth name, my original birth name. So, but I'm known by Padma Rukmini. And I am the owner of Open Lotus Meditation. I have been the owner of that company for 6 years. This is actually my 7 years of business. And this is all I do full time. I meditate. I do sound healing. I'm a coach. I work one-on-one with people who want to learn how to find the stressifying ways, or healing the heart, or pretty much anything that they've been struggling with. Meditation is a beautiful way to find healing. And the sound healing classes, I also do one-on-ones with that if you want more personalized time. And sound healing is vibrational therapy that helps with insomnia, body aches, physical and mental alignment. It works specifically with the meridians, so your chakra centers. And I have been doing that for as long as I've had Open Lotus. So as soon as I started Open Lotus, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I also do one-on-one coaching for meditation as well. And I also have retreats in Sedona. So I do a lot. And I also have a membership, an online membership that is really affordable. And you get pretty much me as a teacher, your back pocket teacher, plus all of the coursework, new guided meditations every week, daily aspirations and text messages with meditations. And we can talk a little bit more about that at the end, but there's lots of resources and I offer tons of stuff for free. So if you're like, well, I'm not sure about paying for any of this, like Gayla said, on my website, I have free guided meditations. I'm also an Insight Timer, and it is an application for meditation teachers, and I have over 30 guided meditations for free on that app as well. And I do lives every other Tuesday, which cover all types of spiritual, in-depth conversations and teachings, and we meditate together, all for free. So there's lots of ways to get in contact with me or work with me in one capacity or another. So thank you so much for being here. This, like I said, means the world to me to talk about such an amazing topic that has completely transformed my life. And I do want to say that if at any time you have questions, or if you have a question and you don't want to interrupt, please write it down. This is for you. I want to do this to help you gain access to tranquility, to letting go of the obsessive thinking, of overwhelm, anxiety. And so if you are feeling like you have to ask something, please do so. I would gladly appreciate the questions, because I just don't want to talk to you. Like, I want you to talk to me as well. And I think that is me in a nutshell. Just so you guys know, before I was a meditation teacher, I was a CEO. So for 23 years, I was in the nonprofit sector. And I absolutely love business leadership. I have 2 masters and a doctorate. My doctor's in education, in organizational leadership and nonprofit work. And my masters are in an MBA and an MSL, which is management leadership, and then executive management. So lots of education in all kinds of areas, but this right here is my passion and my jam. So hopefully you'll enjoy today's class. So with further ado, Okay, so this topic is called the power of a daily dump journal for release and renewal. And I want to just kind of give you an overview of the class today. We're going to discuss, you know, what is a dump journal? Why is it important? The benefits, and I love science. I love empirical data. So we're going to talk a little bit about how having this system can really help align the brain. And then we're going to talk about how to use it, and I'm going to show you my evolution of how this started for me and where I am today. And then we're going to also talk about different ways to dump and some important little tidbits. And then we're going to also talk about how to incorporate this type of tool with what you have already in the planner world. So if you're an analog planner or on the computer or a Google person or, on your phone, this can definitely be integrated in whatever system you're using right now. So this is not here to take over what you are using that's working. It's here to increase or enhance the way that you plan and keep yourself organized, and in that same way help you with overwhelm and worries and thoughts and emotions, which we are constantly having. We have about 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And so I'm talking to you right now and your brain is literally going. And even though you're paying attention or you're centered and you're here, your brain is still going. So this is a way to get rid of some of the ruminating things that continuously are in our brain, and they just want to come out. So before we get started, any questions? All right. I will keep going. Okay, so.
Oh, I have everybody muted. I think Kate has a question.
Yes.
And I'm going to, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. I just wanted to know what your website is, Padma.
Oh, yes, Open Lotus Meditation.com. And all of my contact information is on my website, unless you just want me to tell you. But you can call. Literally, people just text me and they email me and they call me. I'm really, really accessible.
Wonderful. Thank you. You can mute me again.
All right. So how many of you have actually heard, and you can just raise your hand, of a dump journal or a pocket notebook before? Dina and Gayla. Okay. So for those that have not heard of a pocket notebook or what it is, I'm trying to see, there's literally a lineup of 5 different notebooks here. So when I first heard of a traveler's notebook or a pocket notebook, last year, in 2025, I wanted to experiment, and I said, I'm not going to use anything analog. I'm just going to use everything on the computer. And I hated it. It was terrible. I'm an 80s baby. I liked my pen and my paper. It's just something that I love. So when I started to go back to analog, I began to do a ton of research on empirical data of like what's working now, what's better for my brain. I'm 45 years old. I can't process information the same way that I used to when I was, in my 20s or in my 30s. And now that I'm almost in my 50s, I'm like, I really need some help on feeling myself like, having more space. And so this was what came up, and I read about it. I loved it. It's a notebook. You carry it with you. There's a pen included. I'm in. So what an actual dump journal or traveler's notebook is a journal or a book of some sort that you carry with you. Why is it blurry? Oh, there we go. That you carry with you all the time. And when I mean all the time, I mean all the time. So I started with this one, and it came with a nice little pen, and I was just carrying this one around. And then I went to this one and I started adding tabs, and I'm like, okay, this isn't working for me. And then I went to just a simple little notebook. That didn't work either. And then now I have a system that looks like this. And it's a binder system, and I pretty much write absolutely everything that's going on here and here. And I carry it with me everywhere. And when I say everywhere, it even comes to the bathroom with me, because I don't know how many of you are in the toilet with your phones, but I refuse to take my phone with me anywhere anymore. Like, I carry it with me because I have to, but I prefer to just have pen and paper ready. So and we're going to get into how to use it, but I kind of wanted to give you an idea of what exactly it is. It's literally a notebook. It's really simple. There's nothing, scientifically hard about this. It's just a notebook that we carry everywhere, and it has to be small enough for you to put in a purse or in a pocket that you're going to use to write down everything. And when I mean everything, that is here to here. And it's going to take about a week or two, depending on how often you actually write, for your brain to catch up in this tool. Okay. So at first you might feel resistance towards it. Like, I don't need to write that. I don't need to write that. But I am challenging you that you do carry it with you. This is going to be key to actually using it, is carrying it with you all the time, and to practice just writing everything down. Now, like I said, it can look in many ways. This is another version, and this one's bigger, but it has several notebooks in there as well. So this is actually a traveler's notebook that's made from cactus leather, because I'm a vegan, so I don't use anything that's animal product. And this is actually from cacti, and I thought this was really cool. So I got one of these because I'm obsessed, with notebooks. And so there's no wrong way or right way or whatever how you use your dump journal. And like I said, I'm going to get in the nitty-gritty of what I've done in my journey of using one, but let's talk a little bit about the benefits and why we want to actually bother to carrying a notebook around everywhere we go, and what it actually begins to do to the brain. And so, like many of you, I have anxiety, I have overwhelm, I have forgetfulness, and a lot of stress over my tasks. How many things I need to get done? What do I need to check off? And it becomes overwhelming. Excuse me, take a drink of water. And we really scientifically have 3 styles of brain when it comes to being productive: a strategic brain, an executional brain, and then a creative brain. And when we don't have some kind of system to get rid of all that stuff that's happening in these different areas of the brain, we begin to feel those emotions heighten. So the little bit of tasks that might take you 2 hours feel like bricks, okay? Because there's no capacity for you to intake or to process anymore. So having somewhere to dump whatever it is that's going on in the brain will give you the capacity of resilience to feel better, to say to yourself, okay, I know that I have a lot to do, but I could get rid of whatever's here, ruminating, get rid of it, and then I could focus on whatever part of the brain is active right now, if it's your execution brain or your strategic brain or your creative brain. Okay, makes sense? So benefits, here's how it works. Carrying a pocket notebook, and I love this, it gives you a choice to get rid of consumption of your phone. I'm an 80s baby. There was no cell phones when I was growing up. So when we actually have that choice, it gives you your power back. How powerful is that to say, no longer am I going to use this to control me? Because if we're really being frank, and Gayla knows, I am a very upfront, this is how it is person. How many of you pick up your phone to put a note, a reminder, add a calendar, do a to-do list, and you end up on social media? Or you open another app, or you end up on the internet, on Safari looking for this. It's because phones are meant to control our consumption. So it's telling us it's very busy. It's lights and colors, and the brain is attracted to that. So when we use our phone to write, to keep track of, to use as tasks, we're fighting against this pull of consumption. When we stop using the phone and pick up the paper, we take our power back. This is scientifically proven. Our working memory is limited. And when we try to hold on too many to-dos, thoughts, ideas, it actually gives us stress, and it causes anxiety and overwhelm. Okay. It also, using a notebook, it improves our memory. How many of you forget everything? I do. If I don't write it down, it's lost. But when we go to write things down, we tend to go to the phone, or we have a million little sticky notes everywhere with nowhere to land. And the sticky notes get lost or whatever the case is, and you feel that sense of overwhelm because there's not a landing place for these thoughts or an additional to do, or you're on the phone and your doctor's like, yeah, you need to get this, or you're like today, for example, I was getting a wax, and she's also my esthetician, and she's like, I really need you to get on this cream. And instead of grabbing my phone, I grabbed my journal, my actual pocket notebook, and I wrote it down there because I knew that if I picked up my phone, I was going to get lost in that moment. So having the choice to pick up what I want to use is amazing. And it does reduce your overwhelm, because I know that it's written here, it is safe. It's not going to go anywhere. And when I'm ready for it, I'll visit it. You see, when you're ready for it, you can actually visit what you wrote down. So this improves our memory by writing down things. It actually helps us memorize. It lights up a very specific area of the brain that helps us understand and memorize things much better. And I've actually noticed that since I started using an actual pocket notebook or a dump journal, I just remember things a lot easier because there's capacity. It also gives you clarity when you need it. Financial clarity, emotional clarity, creativity. And when we write things out, we process self-reflection, awareness, less stress, more clarity. And it provides productivity that keeps you connected to your why. I mean, if any of those things don't get you excited, at least knowing that you're taking your power back and you're getting rid of the consumption, I think that to me was like, I'm in, right? Because who likes using their cell phone? I don't. Does anyone here actually love using their cell phone? Just curious. No, you don't have to, you can be honest if you really love your cell phone. I just don't like it.
I'll tell you, the hardest thing I do with my phone is make a call. I'll pick it up and I go, why do I make a call? Because I never call anybody. And I'll go, oh, that's that button down here, but where's the keypad? It's embarrassing. And now I pick it up and I'll ask it questions like Alexa all day long. That is my biggest thing, rather than, yeah. So, yeah. But
I will
so
say I like my cell phone. Well, for business purposes and things like that, I tend not to use it for notes because I'm 65, so I'm still a paper and pen person, and I can't live without a notebook. I just can't. I probably have too many. So,
Yeah, well, you should see. I mean, what I have, it's kind of crazy. My husband's like, another one? I'm like, yes, I need another notebook. You don't understand. Kate, you
I'll
had your
keep one for work, and then I'll keep one for everything else that I carry with me. I haven't carried it to the bathroom yet, though.
Yeah, I have. I literally carry my pocket notebook everywhere. It sleeps next to me because in the middle of the night or right before bed, I'll have thoughts. And like last night, for example, I had a thought. I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about this in tomorrow's workshop. And instead of holding it, it was right there. I just grabbed it, wrote it out, closed it, and went to bed with a lot less junk here. And I was able to relax and go to sleep. That's why I have one. I have it next to me also. Kate, you had a question or a comment? Go ahead. Unmute yourself, love. There you go.
As a 40s baby, I am actually hooked on this phone. It drives me crazy because I put everything in it. If I don't put everything in the calendar, I forget it. You know, I think I'm just at that age where I just can't remember all this stuff, you know. So how do you mark where you've written notes that you want to remember?
Sure. So that's a great segue to what you can use your pocket notebook for. And we're also going to talk about integration because I still use my cell phone for business. I still have a family calendar in my cell phone. So there is still a use for what we have. It's just that I am now controlling and taking my power back and saying, I'm going to use the phone for this. Okay, so we'll talk about integration. So let's get into what and how I use this baby. Okay, so everyone's brain works a little bit different. So what I do doesn't necessarily going to work for you, but I'm hoping it will give you ideas and you can be like, yes, that will work for me. Yes, that would work for me, or whatnot, etc. So to give you really quick a preview. So I have an actual agenda that it's an A5 size agenda. It has tape because my cat started eating it. I was like, no. So I do have an agenda that I don't know why it's blurry. Oh, okay. I do have an agenda that I call it my brain. So my brain lives on my desk. Okay. My phone is for my business. And then my dump journal is for everything, everything. So this is how I organize it. So I have my wallet in here. And the reason why I have my wallet in here is because I didn't want to not have access to this. So I made a choice to incorporate my wallet with my journal, with my notebook. And then what I did when I started with it like this, I was just dumping everything. So it didn't matter if it was an idea, a thought, an inspiration, a quote, I would just dump it. But then here was the question for me. I was like, okay, this is too hard to organize. I need a little bit of structure when it comes to how I'm dumping. So instead of a notebook, I got a ring binder. And what I did, hold on, I'm going to turn off. This is driving me crazy. This setting of blurring. I don't know why it's doing that.
You may have it too close to the camera.
Okay, it says that I'm not blurred, so I don't know. I go back there. Okay, so trying to find the right angle. But so when I got the ring binder, what I did is I started to just make little tabs So I have a 2026 tab, which has my monthly calendar in it. And this is totally preference for me. I just like to have an overview of what my month looks like on here. And then here's when I start to dump. I have a to-do dumping. So anything that like, I'm like, oh, task, whatever comes to my brain goes into this section for me. And once it's written and it's completed, I cross it out. And you can see and these are like all kinds of tasks. Things like I need to call the doctor, or make sure, let me see some of these. Ask for table and chair, get oil, check BG57, grab another flyer of Shaviratri, order another notebook, organize my Gita in my traveler notebook. Like I literally, so for today, this is what I dumped today, stuff that I had in my mind. Laminate, I have some things I need to laminate, look for better monthly tabs, make more essential oil spray, type out my ritual, find a place to fix my Alfredo. I have a teddy bear that I had since I was a little girl, since I was 5, and my dog ate the nose, and it's really sentimental to me. So I'm trying to find a teddy bear hospital for it and get it fixed. But in that moment, right, that I was having these like, I need to get this stuff done. It was really like, if I didn't actually write it down, it would have like just it would have kept running in my head over and over and over and over again. And if I would have grabbed my phone, I know for a fact that I would have used 5 other apps before I got to writing down, hey, find a teddy hospital. So this is my control. I'm writing it down here. Then I have a tab for notes, and this is thoughts, just stuff that I have the perfect sandwich recipe in here, because one night my husband's like, this is the most perfect sandwich you've ever made. So I was like, gotta write it down. So I wrote down exactly how I made that sandwich, what I put in it, the layers, how much of stuff, and I just wrote it down, and now I have it, right? So, and I've actually used that page a few times, and have other stuff in here, just a bunch of like random stuff that's in my head. Oh, I like nail, what are they called? Nail strips. So these are nail strips in my nails, and I like how it looks. So then I wrote down here all the different brands of nail strips that I need to research to see which one I'm going to try next. Where would that live but in your head, right? Like, oh, I really want to get those nails done. Oh my God. And then it would just sit there spinning around, and it would take up space. So I wrote that down. I had a bunch of thoughts this day. So I just like dumped like all the crap that was in here. I might have killed someone and wrote it down on here, not in real life, but in my head. And then I dumped it. So, and then
That made Jan smile.
and then as I'm writing stuff, if I'm like, I'm going to get rid of this page, I make a note. I have this highlighter, and I just make a cross over it, because I like to see things checked off. In my head, if I see that green marker, I'm like, I'm done with that. No need to even keep it. I got on the phone with the VA. I wrote down what they told me on here. So I also got on the phone with some financial stuff. I wrote some numbers. So in that note section, literally everything goes. But then if I have an idea for work, or an idea for a dinner, because Gayla taught me how to dinner plan. And so now I don't do anything but dinner plan. So on here, I actually write down any type of ideas that I have with dinner plan, any ideas. I also wrote this entire class here as well. I was like, oh, I have this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say that, dumped it. And then I transferred that dump into my notes that I was going to actually talk about today. And then I also like to doodle. So I do a lot of Zen doodling, and I really love it. So I tend to, at the bottom of my pages, do Zen doodles when I'm bored. And that gets me away from the phone and into actually that's creative. And so that actually helps a lot. And then the last section I have is inspiration. And this is all of my spiritual things that might come up in my head. So I write down things that I heard from my guru. I write down verses that I've read that day that are really important to me, or ideas for classes because I do preaching. And so I write ideas for classes as well. So those are all my sections that I created because it helped me dump in a very structured way, which is not needed. Okay, my husband has a dump journal and he is an artist and it has no like structure to his dumping. He just dumps and it works great for him. I just took this section out. So I had an index section, and this is something I was doing. I was writing down any words that I did not recognize or know the meaning of. And then I was searching for the definitions. But let me tell you something. I did it for 30 days and it got old. I was like, I don't really care. So I took this section and took it out because that's the power of a binder. Like when you have a binder system, you can move stuff around, shift it, add things. And that's why I am an advocate for a ring bound system. In any type of notebook system, I really like the binder system because you get to shift stuff around whenever you want and you don't waste paper. So after I fill it, because it does get filled, I take all those pages out and I might keep them for like a month. So this is December and this is all the stuff that I had in December. And I just keep it for like, I'll maybe throw them out probably next month. And the reason why I keep them is just in case for some reason I need to go back and find what I wrote. But for the most part, I'm not going to do that. But I still, for my peace of mind, I just keep it for 1 month. But really, it's a dump journal. You really shouldn't be keeping what's dumping, but some stuff is really good, so I keep. All right. So what are other things you can use it for? You can use it for tracking. So I actually have a tracker here. So I am getting tested for Meniere's disease, and I keep track now every single day, and I just keep it in here because I carry this everywhere, how my dizzy spells are going throughout the days. So, my AM, was it a 1? Was it a 5? Was it a 6? Was it an 8? So last night I had a terrible, terrible spell and it was almost a 9 and it lasted for hours and I couldn't sleep. I really didn't sleep well last night. So I wrote that in because I have a doctor's appointment, a neurologist appointment in April, and they want me to just keep track of this. So you can even use this type of notebook that you carry as a tracker versus having an application that you get for free and then it has all these ads and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. Or it's like, play this game. Oh, that sounds good. And then you get completely lost in what you picked up your phone for. See? But here there's no lost. It's right here. I picked up my journal to write in how I was feeling that moment with my dizzy spells. You can use it for inspiration, quotes. I showed you definitions you want to learn. That one got old for me really quick. Gratitude. There are these different styles of journaling that you can do on them as well. Like one is by Dr. Prina Baker, I think his name is, and he wrote he researched how to do expressive writing. And that's when you write until there's nothing left. Have you ever done that? Like actually sat down and dumped until there was nothing left? Have you? Just by a raise of hands? No? Try it. It is so good. You'll be surprised the stuff that's in your brain. It's kind of crazy. So I love expressive writing. I do it at least once a day. And I just write, I just dump, and I do it in here. You know, last night I'll show you the one that I did last night. It was like 6 pages long. Yeah, 6 pages of just writing whatever. You can kind of see a little bit, writing whatever was in my head. And I just use it here and I just let it go. Feels really nice. There's also reflective refraining, which is active resilience. And this is when we can write situations down and see the silver lining in them. It's a really cool way to find resilience in your life. You can do brain mapping. I brain map so much. It's such a great way to get rid of like things that don't necessarily make sense, or you're not sure how you're feeling about something. So normally I'll write whatever the emotion is or what I'm trying to figure out. And then I just do little legs and then I plop in whatever comes up. It's a great way to dump. I love wish lists. I have one in here because as soon as I see something I want, I tend to buy it, no matter if I need it or not. And that's overconsumption. And my cell phone helps me fuel that all the time. So some of the stuff that I've gotten in my life currently, I don't need. But like my nail stickers, I got those because I saw an ad in Instagram and I was like, "Ooh, that looks nice. I'll get it." The bag, the purse that I'm using, Instagram and Facebook made me buy it. So now instead of clicking buy, I just write it in my dump journal and say wish list. And at some point, it's either going to stick and I'm going to definitely get it, or it's just going to go away. And normally it just goes away.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's a great one to do. Okay. So I just talked my booty off. Let's have some questions, and then we're going to talk about some integrating. Any questions at this point?
I wrote down a lot of comments. I don't know that I have any questions. Does anybody have questions?
I
Oh,
do.
looks like Kate does.
I just, one of the last things you talked about was reflective something. What was that something?
Refraining.
Oh, and what is that?
That's when you write down a situation that's bothering you and you see the silver lining. What is the good that's going to come out? So you're learning and growing experience in that situation.
Okay.
And that
I
actually,
like that.
yeah, it actually activates your emotional intelligence, because resilience is one of those levels of emotional intelligence. And it is something that we have to practice. So if we do it by writing, we're actually activating all of these different areas. Your frontal cortex of the brain is lit up when you do this exercise. When you start, if you're having an issue of some sort and you just be like, okay, this is the issue, but this is the good thing that's going to come out of it. Or here's the learning and growing opportunity that I have from this situation. And when we journal it, it like connects all those little beautiful neurons that are connecting every other part of the brain. It does some beautiful things. There's a 5-minute video that I watched that kind of like explained everything. Was great. I was like, oh yeah, this is good. Gina, you had a question?
Well, I don't know that I have, well, maybe I do have a question. So I keep lots of notebooks. I'm a Post-it queen. Even in my notebook, I'm throwing a Post-it. And when I'm scrolling on Facebook, I always see something or want to remember something. So I send it to just me in my feed, or I'll save it in a folder of all these saved things that I need to reference, because I'm going to forget where it was or what the website was or the reference that I'm looking for. So I'm keeping stuff in multiple places. And like you, I just keep a little notebook with me just to just write stuff down. At work, I keep a journal for work, and every day I'm listing all these tasks that I want to tick off by the end of the day. If it's not finished, then I move it to the next day. So my brain's actually all over the place. And I do keep, I'll put something in my digital calendar on my phone. But I also am still old school and I keep a paper calendar because I keep a big calendar just because I write notes in it. So I don't know, how do you control all that?
Yeah, so what's happening is, Gina, if I can say, is your strategic brain, your execution brain, and your creative brain are jumbled in between all these notebooks.
Yeah.
So my advice to you is to have just 3 notebooks, one for work, one for home, and one for dumping.
Okay.
And when you begin to, I used to be like you. I actually would save stuff on social media. I do not do that anymore. What I do is, it's in my dump journal. I'll write down, and I'll even show you if it will let me show you. I actually write down the website that I need to reference later and a little note about it. And so you can kind of see here. So these are 3. Oh, no.
Okay.
I have, well, there's three, I was just doing this literally like 2 days ago. I was researching for more fills for my pocket, and I found this great website called Me Plus, 2 E's. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did not save it. I wrote it down, and I wrote the note, pocket size for my chubby monkey, because I name my notebooks. I have a problem. This is chubby monkey. And I put the size 3.5 times 4.72 insert. The website's amazing. Look back. So I just wrote that.
Okay.
So I didn't save it.
Okay.
I don't rely on my phone for that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do have a virtual calendar that talks to my work calendar on my phone and my personal calendar. So this is an extra step, but it keeps me sane.
Yeah.
So this is my system. If I'm with someone at work and they say, can you put this meeting in, etc., I'll open my calendar on my phone and I'll write it in. And then if anything happens with my calendar only, I'll put it into my virtual calendar. It is my landing space for all appointments. Okay. Then I plan every Wednesday. I know some people plan on Sundays. For me, it's the middle of the week. I plan for the following week. So when I am planning, because I remember I showed you, I have a paper planner. When I'm planning, I take my phone and I open my virtual calendar, or I take my laptop because it feeds into my laptop, and I open my paper, my brain planner, and I put everything there. Okay. So work, everything, work, personal, it's all in 1 week layout. And then I do time blocking from that information. From there, I do my tasks. And then from my tasks, I do my meal planning. And I've been doing it that way for months, and it's working like a chef's kiss. That's how I do my actual planning part of it, like all these appointments, because we are professionals and we have them. Now I just started doing this. I transferred, and this is not something you have to do. This is just an extra step for me, because I really wanted to not have my phone with me as much as possible. So what I did is I just drew in my month, and I transferred my monthly view into my chubby monkey here, just so I have a visual, because I don't carry my brain with me and I don't want to use my phone So I need to know, what does my day look like, or what is happening next week, or if I'm with someone and I don't have my phone, I still have a backup.
Mhm.
And this only takes like a few minutes to do. It doesn't take that long. I know it
Mhm.
sounds like such a like a big step, but it's not. And then today I took it a step further. I added my weekly tasks that are correlating to my brain. But I'm not going to do anything with those tasks on my little notebook, on my chubby monkey. I just wanted to have it. It's an experiment. So this is something that is really important. Play with what you think is going to work with you. Give it 30 days. And if it doesn't, get rid of it.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, because that's, I feel like my ADD brain, just, I thought I was going to drive myself nuts for a while because I had all these things going on. And plus, running my business, my side business too, and keeping up with schedules and stuff there. And I'm a screenshot queen too, because if I'm in my phone or on Facebook or something, I don't need to save it, but I need to remember it. I take a screenshot of it and that goes into a folder on my phone. So,
Yeah, you just
so
have to minimize it. You have
yeah,
to,
okay.
I used to do the same exact thing. I had 3,000 plus screenshots. It was kind of insane. And I no longer do that anymore. I
Wow.
just, because we don't need it. Well,
Yeah.
how often do you go back and say, let me go look at that screenshot? No, we forgot what the
Right.
screenshot was.
You have
And
to go and start deleting some of them.
that's exactly it. We forget what the screenshot was, and then we never go back. Or saving that special post. I have so many posts saved. I never once went back and looked at a post. Why? Because there were so many more posts. There was more posts and more posts. And then you're like, okay, I need them all.
Yeah.
No.
Yep, exactly. Now, your binder reminds me of the days when I used to maintain a Franklin planner.
Oh, that was my jam.
Oh my
Franklin.
gosh,
Yes.
I still have my leather bound, and I'm thinking maybe I might resurrect that because that worked for me for years and I loved it. It kept me organized. And so I just need to figure out something like that or what you have that I can maintain my three lives, personal, business, and work.
So let me ask you a question. Why did you get rid of your Franklin Covey?
I don't know. I just either ended up doing something else, but I still have it. I still have my binder, and all I have to do is just add more, updated calendars. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I can't remember honestly why I phased out of it.
You know why? I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
It's because of this.
Ah,
The phone.
Because
That's when I stopped using mine, was when I started using Google Calendar,
you're
because I had
probably so
all my
right.
own Franklin planners I
I
had a whole
loved it.
stack of them, and I used them forever. And then I
I've
started using Google Calendar, and then I stopped writing on paper. Now I still write on paper, but it's just a hot mess.
Yeah.
And so it has
Yeah.
to stop because it's crazy. It's crazy.
And I still love paper because when the phones came out and everyone was attached to their phones, that all I thought was, what if your phone dies? What if this? You can't get your calendar. You can't look at your contacts if your phone dies. So I never gave up paper. So I kind of still toggled between both. But you're probably right. It was probably getting more advanced with the technology.
and let me tell you, I was convinced that using a Google Calendar and my Outlook and all this stuff was going to make me more productive, and it's not. I was a CEO and a leader for 23 years in corporate America, professional, and I never used the calendar. I always used my paper. And
Mine
I
too.
mean, people would send me, calendar because I would see them, I would put them on that calendar, but then it would go strictly into my paper. And the reason why there's like a connection of like productivity and feeling more aligned is what the brain is doing is your frontal cortex is activated when we right.
And that's what I've always heard. And I believe that you commit more to memory when you're writing it. So that does
Yeah.
make sense.
Jan, you keep raising your hand. What is it,
I'm
love?
sorry. I've talked too much. I'm gonna.
That's okay.
I have a I can't say it, rudimentary question. So on the tabbing, when you're starting this, you said what you thought that you wanted to index, correct? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, inspiration or tasks or projects or whatever. Did you keep that pretty much the way it was, or was it fluid until you found what worked best for you and the tabbing?
Always fluid.
Okay.
Always fluid. I commit to nothing when it comes to my dump journal because I'm seasonal. So sometimes I'll need that tab, sometimes I will not. And that's why I love a ring system, because then I could be like, I could just peel off the little sticker that says ideas and print me a new one that says, something else.
Do you
And
keep those?
the tabs,
Uh-huh.
yes, I do. Mhm. Yeah, because
So you
they're actually like a plastic. So I don't, and I can relabel them because these are just all label makers, and I just, label make the actual tab name. But
So you
I'll,
keep a library of past tabs, and then you can just go in and dip into it and put it in or exchange. Okay. All right. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
This
Um,
reminds me, this reminds me a lot of project management.
oh yeah, it's project
Yeah.
management and paper. On
Yeah.
paper for sure.
Okay.
One last thing I wanted to cover is, and Gayla's gonna laugh. You got to have a great pen and a great notebook, okay? Because if you're not inspired to pick it up and write, you're not going to use it. That's why I have this chubby monkey. I have now this one, but this one has my devotional stuff. So it's my, my Bhagavad Gita and some other things that I need for when I go to the temple. I wanted a separate place just for my devotion. That's me, right? You don't necessarily have to have that if you're like, you have a Bible or anything like that. I like to keep that separate. However, I do have an inspiration tab on my dump here, because if I do have inspiration for that, it's here, but then it gets transferred over, you see? So here's the integration. Whatever goes here, you process it when you're ready, okay? I process whatever I write. At least it takes like, I want to say 5 full minutes a night, where I'll go through my sections in my dump journal and I said, okay, is there any to-dos that need to be transferred to my brain? Not really. Or maybe there is. Maybe there's something important that I need to put on there that's time sensitive. But for the most part, there isn't one. But I'll go through it anyway. I'll look through my notes and I'll say, is there any thoughts in here that I need to, that are important? Today, I wrote one that's important. I need to buy Venacream hydrocortisone cream for my face, because that's what my esthetician told me. So I know that that's time sensitive. So that's going to get transferred to my brain, because it has to get done tomorrow. So
And
that's
you're talking about your brain dump journal, or your brain dump, or when you're saying you're transferring to your brain, what are you saying?
my big brain,
Okay.
my actual planner that I
Okay.
have everything that
Okay.
needs to be executed and strategically planned.
Okay.
So my strategic and my execution plan is on this thing. This is only dump. But I go through my dump every single night to make sure that I can transfer what is important. Okay. Any ideas that I want to have on here? For example, this class came to me, everything that I'm speaking on, I wrote it all down. So I knew that I needed to transfer that to my file where I type all of my classes, because I do archive all of my classes, and that gets filed. My inspiration is anything that's my spirituality. And so, I'm a Krishna conscious devotee. So I will have whatever came up for me and I will add it to where it belongs, which is my devotional part here. So wherever it lands, if it's trash, it gets a big cross over it and I never look at it again. But if it needs to be processed, I then integrate it into where it needs to go. And then nothing ever gets lost, ever, because I have a system that works beautifully for my brain and it keeps me very, very organized, you see?
Mhm.
So and I'm leaving you with this because I know I'm out of time. You got to do what works for you. I gave you all of these ideas so you can grab what you think is going to work.